here. I'm here. I'm live. We're about to have this conversation about Amber Guyger and her guilty verdict, which I see a lot of people celebrating, and I'm just quiet for right now. I'm just quiet only because I do understand that there's a verdict that is guilty. I understand that there has to be a sentences that happens, and they're in the process of doing that now. They're hearing from witnesses. And I also understand that there could be an appeal as well. So I try to be a little bit more relaxed about these things than other people are. I try to be a little bit more relaxed because sometimes when we jump to conclusions, we'll find out we're getting ourselves upset and angry all over again. So let me just go ahead and say hi to my Facebook community. What's up, Dwayne? How you doing? Steven, I'm glad that you're on. Katrina, how are you guys doing? Yvette, I'm glad that you guys are on. Let's get started. So I was watching the verdict on YouTube, and I heard the judge say, "We unanimously find the defendant, Amber Guyger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment." This is what the judge read out loud as she read it from the jury. Let's talk about the jury for a second before I go on. Everybody was asking, what is the jury makeup? What is the jury makeup? What is the jury makeup? If you go ahead and do your research, News One, I believe, posted on the jury makeup. But the jury makeup is a makeup that reflects a jury of Botham John, Bowles. Let's just call him Bowles because I get so tongue-tied with his name. Bowles Pierce. They were, I believe, probably half black or almost half black. There were more Hispanics than there were Asians and whites. So you had a lot of black jurors. You had a lot of Hispanic jurors. You had some Asian, I think like 2, and a few white jurors or something like that. Y'all can go ahead and look at it yourself. Why is that important? Before I get into everything, y'all know I'm in a giddy mood. I'm gonna make y'all laugh today because those white tears, those white tears, I tell you, there's a history behind white tears, and I'm gonna be talking about that today. There's a history behind white tears. But let me tell you why that matters with the jury. Let's just start right there for a moment. This is a serious video, but I'm gonna start laughing. So y'all just get into it. Y'all get into it because I'm gonna start laughing. But it's a serious video because too many of us we don't serve on jury duty. We always find a reason to get out of it. And listen, I used to be one of those people too. I used to always have a legitimate reason why I wasn't going to jury duty. I'm being honest with you guys, but we have stopped doing that. If we're talking about getting together and getting on code, putting black first, starting to operate in uniformity, starting to take this thing called white life seriously, because they're not letting up. They're not letting up. None of them are. Even the ones that think they are not. We have to start operating in this system here in America. We have to understand how this system works, and we have to be prepared and ready to play chess at all times. All times. And what I mean by that is when we decide not to show up, when we decide to get out of jury duty, what we're actually doing is allowing other people who do not look like black victims to decide their fate. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And this is a prime example. Today, in this history, 2019, this is a prime example what happens when we show up for jury duty. We can't keep complaining about stuff we're not showing up for. We got to show up. You don't know what case you're going to be on. You don't know what trial you're going to be hearing. You don't know, but you got to show up. And even though this was a major trial, you have to understand when it comes to the black community, many of our injustices are in small trials that never make the news, that never ever make the news. Those are the trials that we're not showing up for. So let's talk about that. We have to understand that this judge, I see a lot of people had some hangups with this judge. Some people felt some kind of way about her, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. I put it like this. A judge got to prove themselves to me. I put them all in the same category. I don't get up in arms because they are a black judge. And many of my Facebook community family knows that about me because, you know, we had some disagreements on Facebook one time when it was the black judge that fainted. Ooh, she got her guilty verdict. And they said, oh, but drshonna, she did great things in the community. Okay, that might be true, but you have to understand the system and how the system works. And you have to understand that the people that sit on those benches, many of them, I'm not saying all of them, but many of them are part of a larger system that we don't even know about. We don't even know about, okay? And so I like to sit down and just watch how they move, because some of them will show up the right way and some of them won't. So I don't get just excited because I see a black person in power, like many of us do. And I'm not saying all of us, but many of us, we get so overly excited when we see black people in power, like we did with President Obama. Let that sit in for a second, because I know I got some boomers on here. Boomers like to follow me. I love my boomers. I do. And all of them are dope. You know, a lot of them are dope. But boomers like to follow me. When I talk about Obama, that's when I'm off limits with the boomers. The boomers get mad when I talk about Obama, but this is not a video on Obama. This is not a video on him. But I'm just saying that we got to get excited. We got to stop getting excited about this. I will have to say that this judge, I was thinking like she must have lost her damn mind when she had allowed the jurors to consider the castle doctrine. We're going to talk about the castle doctrine in this video. We're going to get there. Just give me a second. We're going to talk about the castle doctrine. But I thought she lost her mind. But then I said, you know what, Shonna, don't react. Don't post anything about it on Facebook or social media. Don't go do a live video on it. Just sit and wait. Because there were aspects about this judge that, you know, I was laughing, not because she was bad or anything, but, you know, you could tell when she's frustrated. She'd be sitting there doing all of this on camera. And then she'd be checking people. So I really did appreciate who she turned out to be. But she was concerning me. She was concerning me about that castle doctrine. And she also concerned me when she gave the jury the opportunity to consider manslaughter. Now I know why that happened, and if we understand the court system, the so-called just us system, and we understand it, we know why they try to throw those things in it, because they're trying to get something to stick. So that led me to believe that they weren't even sure it was going to come back with a guilty verdict. They weren't even sure, because that's what happens when they don't know how it's going to come back. They start throwing things out there to give you an opportunity so that something sticks. But we didn't need the manslaughter because we had a jury of his peers. We didn't need the manslaughter because we had a jury of his peers. We did not need the manslaughter because black people were on the panel. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Somebody's laughing at the boomer things. Y'all know I love the boomer. You know I love the boomers, but sometimes y'all know some boomers just be doing things. I'll be like, okay, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Not today. Not with drshonna. We ain't going there. But anyway, so let's go on to the judge. When she offered up the castle doctrine, we got to understand the castle doctrine. Then we'll be able to understand the white tears, because the white tears are very important in this as well, right? We got to understand the castle doctrine. Let me read what it is. First of all, and I'm giving you an overview of it. Feel free to go ahead and Google the castle doctrine so you can understand why this was put in there. I understand why it was put in there, but it doesn't make sense to put it in this case. But I understand what they were trying to do, because again, these are the games. These are the games that are played. And that's why I always say nothing against this judge. You know, she did her thing. Okay, hats off to you, whatever, but I'm still watching you. I'm still watching you because I understand that they are part of a larger system, a system that we don't fully understand if we're not in it, if our positions are not at jeopardy. And that's why I say to people all the time that when you are getting your paycheck from a white employer, you are in a conflict of interest. Now, I'm not telling y'all to go out there and quit your jobs because y'all want to work for the white man. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But what I am saying is when you are in a conflict of interest, all types of things will play into your mind. You start to think about what would be the consequences if I did A, B, and C. Will I keep my job? Will I lose my job? These kind of things will naturally go in because we are humans, and humans are meant to survive. So anything that threatens our survival is going to kick in. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm not saying this is the case. This is my opinion. I'm thinking that castle doctrine was thrown in there as let me let the audience know, and you know what audience I'm talking about. I ain't talking about us. Let me let the audience know I'm playing fair. Because this is what the castle doctrine says. First of all, and I'm giving you a rough definition of it. It designates your place of residence as a place of protection against others trying to hurt you. Let me say that again. It designates your place of residence as a place of protection against others that is trying to hurt you. It also extends outside of your home. So if you're in your place of business, if you are in your car, if you're camping in the woods and you are in your tent, you have this protection under the law if you are in your place of residence and someone enters to hurt you. I hope y'all hearing me. And I hope y'all starting to understand why that damn law should not have been a part of this case, no way, shape, or form. It also says an intruder, someone who is entering your place of residency, an intruder must have made an attempt to forcibly enter your home, and they are acting in an illegal manner. So the intruder isn't the police that enters your home with a warrant or just cause. They have reason to believe that something is going on, something illegal is going on. That's different. But when you are in your home and somebody enters into your home illegally, they forcibly come into your home, the castle doctrine sets in to protect you in your home, not you mistakenly walking into somebody else's home. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I do research. It also says occupants. So you living in your home must believe the intruder, the person who does not belong there that enter into your home, will harm or kill you and commit some other felony. So you must believe that the intruder who has entered into your home might harm you or kill you and commit another act of a felony, robbery, rape, whatever the case is. Y'all get what I'm saying? You get it what I'm saying? But when we really think about it, she was the intruder. But that bone was thrown out there. That bone was thrown out there because they were trying to say, because she believed that she was in her house, the man, our brother Bo, sitting on the couch eating ice cream, was the intruder. Now, what kind of goddamn intruder goes into your house, sits down on the couch, and eats a bowl of vanilla ice cream, watching TV, waiting for you to come in the door? Okay, maybe some intruders do that. That's not the norm. Maybe y'all know some intruders that go in and sit and they wait for you to come home and they're going to eat ice cream and watch TV, watch CNN, distracted in your house waiting for you to come home with no weapon, no gun. Okay, I get it. She didn't know he had a gun or a knife or anything. She didn't know. Maybe she didn't even see him eating eating ice cream, watching CNN. Maybe. You know, they say anything is possible, right? But come on now. Come on now. Last but not least, it says occupants, if you're in the home, must not provoke or or instigate the intruder. And occupants, when it comes to the castle doctrine and the stand your ground doctrine, does not have the duty to retreat. So duty to retreat is another law that's in place. But when you're under the castle doctrine, you don't have to retreat. And so they throw that in there because people are asking, why didn't she ask questions? Why didn't she get out of it? So they're trying to say, because she thought it was her home, she had the right to protect her home. And she did not have to retreat or ask questions or give the intruder an opportunity to get his ish together. That's pretty much what is being said. And last but not least, the castle doctrine gives immunity from civil lawsuit. That's important because after, we lock her up, we need to sue her and we need to sue the police department. I don't know if you can sue the police department, but something needs to happen. So let's go on to these white tears, these crocodile tears. This is very important for us to get into the crocodile tears. All right. So white tears, AKA crocodile tears. That's what I'm calling them, crocodile tears. Now, white tears, you got to think about everything within context. Some people, they get offended when we make the statements like white tears. They say, well, you would be scared too. You would be crying too. And that's not what we're saying. See, I don't know. I can speak for myself. That's not what I am saying. I do understand that she's human, and I do understand that she's going to have fear. I understand she's going to have concern about what is going to happen in her future. If any one of us was sitting in that chair as a defendant, we would be thinking about what was going to happen with our future as well. We will be thinking about our freedom being taken away from us as well. I get that. But there is something about white tears that serves a totally different purpose, and we cannot ignore it nor dismiss it. Because I want us always to stay on guard and for us to always be clear of what's happening when white people in front of us start breaking down. Now, when we talk about white tears, it's supposed to be a phrase that gently used to tease white people. And we tease the kind of white people who get upset at the things that they fear threaten their white privilege. Let me say that again. White tears. White tears happen by white people when they feel that their white privilege is at risk of harm. It's going to be threatened. They're not going to get the same privileges that they usually get. And when that happens, the tears start to naturally flow. I am not making this stuff up. You guys got to research it. I'm not making this stuff up. Their tears start to flow. And the reason why their tears start to flow is because they become uncomfortable with the things that they don't want to talk about. They become very uncomfortable with it. They don't like to talk about certain topics that force them to dig deeper into their souls of who they truly are. So when I saw Amber Guyger and her tears, that's what I immediately started to pay attention to. Because in all her crying, she having to muster out clearly, this isn't about race. I'm not a racist. She clearly mustered it out, but it is. It is about race. It is. Absolutely it's about race. And the thing is, when we as a people, when we're able to see things very clearly, our statements alone that is about race makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And not just white people. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but not all people who are uncomfortable start to cry. And why do they start to cry? Why do white people start to cry? Because white people know that their tears is a sign, is a nonverbal communication tool that they use. It is a sign that says to the people listening, the people that are involved, I am uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable talking about this. And they don't have to say anything. They don't have to say, can we take a break? They don't have to say, listen, with all due respect, I don't really want to talk about this. They don't have to take that stance The only thing that they have to do is start crying. And when they start crying, it sends a nonverbal signal. I'm not making this stuff up, people. I'm not. It sends a nonverbal signal that says, this is uncomfortable for me. And what I want you to do is stop the conversation. Stop the proceedings. Stop asking me those questions. Stop. Because I don't want to answer them. I don't want to have this conversation. And what it does for so many people, it starts to derail the conversation. She did not want to talk about it, because if you think about it, being in a position to converse about it, and they would have asked her all the right questions, she would have tripped herself out. So that's a strategy and a technique that is always used, especially among white women. They use these white tears to get out of conversations that make them uncomfortable. What do I mean when I say that? Let me tell you what I mean. Did y'all listen to the 911 call? Did y'all listen to the 911 call? On this 911 call, she's talking to the operator, and she said a number of times, I thought it was in my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. And that's what her defense attorneys tried to play on, that she said, I thought it was my apartment. But she also said, fuck, excuse my expression. I hope y'all don't have your children listening today, because y'all know y'all like to have your children on listen to me, and I appreciate that. But sometimes I got a potty mouth, and today I have a potty mouth because I have to say how she said it in order to give you guys the full effect. Y'all got me Facebook, y'all got me YouTube. That's what I got to do. It's what I want to do. I ain't got to do it, right? I don't want to do it. But you hear her on the 911, she also says, fuck, oh fuck, I fucked up. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. Those white tears. White tears are dangerous. You shot a man in his apartment. Stay with me, bud. Stay with me, bud. Hold on there, bud. Hold on. Fuck, I thought it was my apartment. I'm so sorry. I thought it was my apartment. Oh, God, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. Oh, God. Those two things don't belong in the same goddamn sentence to me. You shot somebody who was in a crouching position, not threatening, not coming at you, not hands raised up, doesn't have a weapon on him. The way the bullet entered in his body and where it landed at in his body, he was in a defenseless position. You shot somebody. Worrying about losing your damn job don't have no place in that apartment over that bleeding body on a 911 call. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. That's my opinion. It just doesn't. You automatically knew to think about your employment. While you're saying, hold on, bud, and you hear mumbling in the background, hold on, bud, stay with me, bud. I thought it was my apartment. Fuck, I'm going to lose my job. I don't know about you, but it doesn't make sense to me. What's going on, Ben? How you doing? Okay, Mimi says my girl is listening. Okay, I'm going to watch my mouth. I'm going to watch my mouth, Mimi, because I don't want your girls to hear me say bad words. I like them to think of me as a nice lady. So in this case, I want you to know that this case was a case about race. It absolutely was. It absolutely was. And I'm not saying she went in there with the intentions to kill him because he was black. I'm not saying that. See, white people have to understand. White people have to understand this thing called implicit bias. White people have to understand that their bodies, maybe not all white people, but you know, who am I to say who it happens to and who is not? So in that case, I'm just going to group them all together, right? That like they do to us, I'm going to group them all together. But in that case, white people have to understand how implicit bias works. Because when you see a black body and you see a black face, you immediately judge it up to be something of what? A black male at both size, at both stature, you would chuck him up to be what? We know this. We live this life every day. We live this life every day. We don't get the opportunity to choose to be something else. We don't get the opportunity to sit down there and say the things that they say and do the things that they do. We don't. We don't get the opportunity to reflect on things and try to say, well, no, it wasn't racist. We don't get that opportunity. I know a lot of us, we try to take that opportunity, but we really don't get it because we're judged by so many people based on our skin. That is it. Based on our skin color. That is it. We are judged by so many people. So every day we wake up, we are reminded of our blackness. I don't care if you're light skin black, dark skin black, blue black. I don't care if you're white black. Every day we wake up, we are reminded of our blackness. And every day we walk the streets, even if it enters our mind just for a second, our fear is something is going to happen to us because of our own blackness. Where do you think that comes from? If we are all energy and we're able to feel other people's energy, and we all also have to think about historical context, our history, and how there's so much propaganda that says the black man and the black woman is dangerous. The black man and the black woman is hypersexual. The black woman and the black man is lazy. There's so much nasty, vile things that are untrue that is said about us. So if these things are out there, and we know we feel them. We know we feel them when we come in contact with certain peoples. We know we feel them. But how come we can feel this, but they don't? How come they never admit to their own biases? How come they don't admit to being afraid when they see us? How come they don't admit to being worried that a black woman is going to cuss them out because we're angry black women? How come they don't admit to being afraid that a black man is going to try to take advantage of them because they're hypersexual and they're rapists? How come they don't admit to thinking they're going to get robbed if they walk on the same side of the sidewalk at nighttime with a black person? What's up, Bianca? Look at my sister, Bianca. How you doing, Bianca? What's up, Allison? How you doing, beautiful? What's up, Teresa? How y'all doing? We got to think about these things. So we got to think about this every day. White people don't have to think about this every day. And they don't have to admit that when they see us, they think the negative. They don't have to admit it. We see every day in their actions. How many of you guys worked for white people, white companies, or even the government where the powers that be, the supervisors and the managers are predominantly white? And I've been an investigator. I've been an investigator in New Jersey for many, many years before I left them, got rid of that system and said I'm leaving. And every time a case came in, and I don't know if anybody else has these kind of experiences. I know you probably do, but I'll talk about my experience. Every time a case came in, and they would look, oh, that's on 12th Ave in Patterson. Oh, okay. Oh, that's on Avon Street in Newark, New Jersey. Call Vashana in my office. Call Vashana in my office. Vashana, we have a case for you. I'm not even up on rotation for a case. Why am I receiving a case? I'm like, I don't have a case. This one is a little bit hard. It's more complex. I think you'll be the one that'll be able to do this. I don't want to give it to so-and-so because she's not going to get me the information that I need. Always trying to play it up like because you're an excellent investigator, because you ask the right questions, because you think deeply, I'm going to give it to you. No. And when I look at my caseload and I saw I got nothing but cases in the worst neighborhoods, that right there let me know how biased certain peoples are. And I'm gonna be fair, it wasn't only white supervisors. It was also Hispanic supervisors. I'm just being honest. Let's be fair. Let's be truthful. Anybody else going through that? But they don't have to sit back and say, I assigned this case to drshonna because of my own implicit bias. Because I'm afraid of black people and I couldn't send my white staff member into that community, even though we're all investigators, even though we all have the same luxuries and the same authorities as anybody else, even though we all can make shit happen with somebody's life if we really wanted to. I had to get the ones to go into communities when you'll get shot at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had to get that. That was because of bias. So yes, this case was about race. And every goddamn encounter we have with them is about race. People don't like to hear that because it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable. Even the Negropeans don't like to hear it. Even the Negropeans don't like to hear it. But it is. It is. And we know that this is something that white people do not like to deal with. They do not like to talk about it. And when that happens, especially white women, the white tears will follow because it's nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication that says, this is uncomfortable for me. I'm not listening. I don't want to hear it. Please stop talking about this. What's up, Nick? How you doing? What's up, Nefertiti? How you doing? My Facebook family, right? How you doing? Pyro Brain, I think that's what it says. How you doing? That's what it says. That's what it says. But here's the thing. These conversations are critical. We have to have these conversations. We have to hold them to the fire at all times. We have to force them to have these conversations. Crying is not going to work anymore. It's not. But we have to show up, people, and we have to do our part. We have to make sure that we are not only in the conversation, we stay engaged in the conversation, and we keep and maintain our composure. We cannot give them a reason to believe. This is why I didn't want to have these conversations, because you guys start threatening people. Those white tears wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. And Amber Guyger has to sit in her discomfort in that jail cell. She has to sit in her discomfort, because the only way she's going to learn about the inhumane treatment that we receive, the unjust treatment that we receive, the reality that we live every day. In order for her to learn about it, she's got to experience it. What's up, Nakaya? How you doing, beautiful? She's got to experience it. That's for any white person. You got to sit in your discomfort. You got to sit in your own discomfort in order for you to get the opportunity to see other people's reality. You cannot hide behind the lies that are being told all the time. We got to stop falling for the trick bag. The trick bag liberals, the trick bag I love everybody, the trick bag with the bumper stickers that says love everybody in the world, but they know nobody that looks like us, right? They got the one colleague that's safe, but their kids don't play together. They don't do anything together, but they like to play on that. We got to watch out for these type of trick bag situations, because it helps them to wiggle out of the conversation. This case very well was about race. This case was about race. And they were trying to have every strategy in the world to help this woman to get off. They wanted it to come back not guilty. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. Because they don't want to have any more discussions about this. They don't want to look guilty for anything that they do. They don't want to have to stand in their real truth. They don't want to have to stand in the truth. They don't want to have to stand in it because it's uncomfortable. So if the case would have came back not guilty, it would have relieved them from the conversation. Don't believe me? Let's think about O.J. Simpson. Let's think about it. Let's think about O.J. Simpson. That not guilty verdict came with heavy consequences. So before we start celebrating, we have to understand that this is not over. This is not over. This wasn't supposed to happen this way. This was not supposed to go down this way. We got to understand that. And many people don't want to hear that, but that is the truth. This is one of those exceptions to the rules. So we see all the time when white people get found guilty and they get sent away, they don't get a just sentence. They come out way earlier than what they're supposed to come out. They get a plush cell to go to. They don't experience what we experience. Because it's not really about, I want to sit down to understand you, Black person. It's about this stuff happens to you and not me, and I need my protections. I need my privilege. So we're not going to see the end of the white tears. The white tears are going to continue in this case. Trust me. The tears to the lawyer is going to come constantly. There are going to be appeals. There's going to be complaints that she's being threatened. She's going to feel unsafe. She's going to want to be moved. There's going to be so many things that's going to happen that they get to do. We say we feel unsafe in prison. We want to get moved. We want to appeal. Even our own goddamn attorney works against us. Yeah, I don't know the likelihood of that. Things don't happen that fast. You got to be patient. What's happening with you? Are they touching you? Okay, all right. Okay, I'll talk to the warden. I'll try to see if I can get you moved. We get the song and dance. But when they have their white tears, they get media coverage. They get a newspaper article. They get live coverage on the news on regular TV. They get network television coverage. HBO, CNN, you name it. They on every channel about how unsafe they feel. So we got to understand that this is not over. This is not over. The white tears tend to work whether they're in prison or they out of prison. Because see what the white tears has done to OJ. Now, I'm not saying OJ is not guilty. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that OJ is not guilty. But what I am saying is the white tears that went on regarding OJ, oh, they worked that man's case, even a closed case. They worked it day and night till they finally got his ass, and oh, sorry, Mimi, until they finally got his behind and threw him in prison and took everything from him. Everything you can even imagine was taken from him. I mean, shit, they probably, oh, good Lord, sorry, Mimi. They probably sued him 1,000 times for the same situation. Because it's not over. It's not over. So when I talk about this woman, Amber Guyger, this murderer, I can say that she's guilty. Murderer. When I talk about this murderer, we got to understand this. We got to understand this. It ain't over. It ain't over. Somebody's saying here on YouTube, but what if her discomfort is not dealing with the challenge? Oh, shoot. Not dealing with the challenge of killing an innocent man, but the discomfort of having to go to jail. She still contends that she didn't do anything wrong. Well, absolutely, she doesn't want to go to jail. Yes, her discomfort is about jail. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about her going to jail is going to be her having to sit in her own discomfort. She fears going to jail. I mean, I would fear going to jail too, unless I kill somebody on purpose. I'd be like, I was going to curse again, Mimi. I was going to curse again. I'd be like, F it. F it. Take me to jail. I did it. You hurt my child. You hurt my family. You hurt my husband. I did it. I put a bullet in you. Okay, yep, and I did. But white people don't operate like that. Even serial killers start to cry. Ashe, Larry. Even serial killers start to cry. So what I'm saying is that this is not over. This case is far from over. So I know we are getting excited. I know that we are celebrating. Some of us are celebrating. I am going to hold my celebration. I have learned to stop getting excited about these things since the killing of Trayvon Martin, when the verdict came back not guilty for that murderer. I have learned not to do that because for some reason there always seems some level of disappointment that happens. There are several cases that I've been following because I want to see how much time they serve. Because what tends to happen, people, is once we get a guilty verdict and they get sentenced, we start to forget about it. And every once in a while, we'll see something that happens that reminds us of it. We say, yeah, well, I'm glad that happened. But we forget about it. And we got to stop doing that as a people. Because when we forget about it, what happens is after the fact, they get off before their time is due. They got plush treatment. They get book deals. They get TV series. All these type of things, documentaries out the wazoo that make them look as innocent as Lord knows what. All of this stuff starts to happen. And the white tear starts to flow. And then the community starts to forgive them immediately and say, we always had your back. I'm sorry you went through that. We got to stop that nonsense. Don't let up on it. Don't forget this case. This matters. This matters because this case is going to set the precedent for other cases. If people walk into our goddamn homes and kill us, this really matters. Somebody said, did you see the court bailiff? This is what I'm talking about. Did you see the court bailiff consoling her? Of course. Of course. There's something psychological that happens. So those of us who are alert and we are on guard, we have to watch all those things. Somebody would easily say, I think that was Nick that said that, I'm not too sure. Somebody would easily say, well, that's compassion. That's compassion. We should have compassion. And then they always like to go into what the Bible tells us. We got to stop that nonsense. We honestly, truly have to stop that nonsense because we don't understand the nonverbal message we send our oppressor. Oh, they fixed her hair too? I must have mixed that one because I just stopped watching. When I saw that kind of Uncle Ruckus stuff, I just stopped watching. And you know why I stopped watching? I'm going to say this, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm about to leave. Give me 3 minutes and I'm out. You know why I say that? Because when we verbally come on and we start talking about compassion and forgiveness, and, you know, I understand how she feels. I feel her pain. Well, understand that stuff. See, Mimi, I didn't curse. Understand that stuff in private. In your own damn apartment, in your own damn house, in your bedroom, in your car. Don't understand that stuff publicly. Because when you do, you don't send a verbal message that says, kumbaya, we should all get along. They're never going to get along with us. And even me saying that hurts people's ears. And that is the truth. So we need to stop all of this kumbaya stuff. Stop saying this stuff out loud. Because it sends a nonverbal message to the bullies, the colonizers, the oppressors. It sends a nonverbal message to them that says, guess what? They're going to forgive you. It's going to be okay. It's all right. Oh, please, don't worry about it. They're going to get angry, but they're going to forgive you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. If you make a mistake, it's okay. If you kill one of them, it's okay. If you rape one of them, it's okay. If you shoot one of them, it's okay. If you discriminate against one of them, it's okay. If you fire one of them, it's okay. They're going to forgive you because they understand how we've been socially engineered. They understand how we've been conditioned. They understand the same tool that they used to condition us 250, 400 years ago. They're still using the same tools today. So we got to stop doing this stuff publicly. We got to stop going out there saying it is okay. It is not okay. It's not. Stroking her hair, consoling her. Holding the tissue while she blow her nose. That's what he might as well just did. Hold the damn tissue while she blow her nose. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. I don't know, maybe because I'm a black woman. I don't know. Black women, we just do things differently. And that's the truth. I ain't making this up. We just do things differently. Unless you're a Negro-pean. You don't fit in that category if you are a Negro-pean. But black people, we just do things differently. Even when we want to cry. Y'all didn't watch Bo's Mom? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel, we should not show our emotions, right? And in that situation, if I was Bo's mom, I would have been crying. I'm just being honest. I would have been crying, and in between my tears, I would have paused. I would have said, she murdered my son. She murdered him. And I would have put on a show too, because I learned from the white tears. I know how to work it. But what I'm trying to say about us, black women, we just do things differently. Maybe we hard for no reason, but a lot of us, we take shit like a G. We do. We take it like a G. They be like, guilty. We be like, right? That's how we get down. That's how we get down. We handle it differently. Somebody said no forgiveness here. Somebody from YouTube, what's up, Takesha? How you doing? She said no forgiveness here. So I'm trying to say. Takesha is saddened by this. I understand. I understand. I'm saddened too. I'm saddened that our brother is deceased. He's an early ancestor now. I'm saddened. I'm saddened that his mother got to feel the pain of losing her son. I'm saddened by that. I'm saddened that they even have to go through this whole situation. So I agree with you, Takesha. I'm saddened by this. But I'm also angry too. I'm also angry too. I'm also angry how they try to handle things. I'm also angry how they even had people that look like us that's being used against us. Because their blue curtain, their blue lives are more important than the black lives. I'm saddened by that, and I'm angry by that. I'm angry every time I see one of us with the trick bag stuff, the butter biscuit eating stuff. I get angry by that. Because I understand the consequences. I understand the long-term effects of showing division. Let me tell you something. I'm getting out of here right now. I promise you guys I'm getting out of here right now. Y'all remember when Harlan, what was her first name? Harlan, in California, when that Korean woman, no mercy, pulled out her pistol, boom, popped that 15-year-old in the store with the assumption that she was stealing, although she went to go pay for her drink, with the assumption that she was stealing, and killed our little sister. Did y'all see any Asian people consoling black people in that courtroom? This is what we do. Did y'all see any Asian people coming to the rescue of the black family and the black community as they were hurting? Did you see any Asian people show any signs of remorse when they popped one of us? They showed no emotion. We crying, we angry, and they like this. Looking forward. Couldn't even look at us. They weren't doing news conferences, constantly talking about, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. No. That old Korean woman walked out of that courtroom like a G. Y'all think I'm lying? Look it up. Look it up. She walked out of that courtroom like a G.